I will mute all of you.
The topics we discuss are many.
No story too bold to talk about.
Strictly our own opinions.
But they are opinions from people like you.
Welcome to the NAKE'd podcast.
So you know how they say cats have 3 names? They have their cat name that we don't know. They have their official name from us, and then their nickname from us. Well, Sylvie now has a new nickname, and it is Lepore. It stands for lap whore, which he is. Hi, it's Keelan.
Pokemon! It's Bulbasaur! No, it's Bulbasaur, sorry. Actually, it's NJ. Oh my goodness. You lose.
The best president we had right there. And saving the best for last is me, your boy Ethan. All right, let's get into this.
And then
no more warm-up exercise. No more warm-up exercises.
Say that 10 times fast.
yes,
All right, bye.
You know what show didn't end, guys? Jeopardy with Alex Trebek. So he passed away last year and a pancreatic cancer. It was really sad, but Jeopardy is such a long-standing show. We all kind of speculated who would be the next Jeopardy host. And Jeopardy in itself is, I don't know, like we all grew up with it. It's like last appointment television. You know, like you can turn it on at any point and just be completely engaged and play along with it. So Jeopardy holds a special place in my heart. Who did you guys have like pinned? Like this person would be an excellent Jeopardy host.
Burton.
Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
I've been muted this whole time. What? LeVar Burton. He taught us how to read. He was on Star Trek and taught us to love aliens. Why wouldn't he teach us about random facts over other things?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of lean in the camp of maybe they should have just ended Jeopardy. I mean, it's like it's over 30 years. Just kind of like when something happens to Pat Sajak, I will never watch Wheel of Fortune again. You know what I mean?
Or Vanna.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's a reason that they haven't been able to replace any of these people, right? Because
they're iconic.
Yeah, they made the show.
It was just like Trebek and Jeopardy, Icon, anything under that, I just won't see it meeting up. It's just a money grab.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Jeopardy compared to like NCSI or CIS, you know, obviously doesn't pull in the same amount of revenue, and of course, like their generation demographic is significantly older, like boomer age, and we have variations of Jeopardy now. So, like the show that we were talking about in our pre-show, which is called Actually, is just like a really nerdy specific Jeopardy. I really wanted to see LeVar Burton step into that role because I felt like that felt really natural. But they did find a new host, and his name is Mike Richards. Does anybody know who that is?
Nope, never heard of it.
Exactly.
Who is this dude?
So I want to start this by saying that Alex Trebek handpicked his successor. And he wanted Ken Jennings to be his successor because he had won 74 consecutive Jeopardy games. He ended up becoming like a producer for the show, you know, because of his vast knowledge. Alex Trebek left him like a handwritten note and left him some cufflinks, and it's pretty much like, you're it. But novelty only gets you so far, and like Ethan mentioned, like it's a cash grab, so they wanted somebody entertaining. Which I think that's not what Jeopardy is. Jeopardy isn't like Hollywood Squares or anything like that. Like Jeopardy is scholarly, I guess. That
Be
was
the
like,
biggest nerd, yeah.
yeah. So Mike Richards was one of the executive producers of Jeopardy, and he was actually put in charge to find the replacement. They set up calls with other guest hosts like Anderson Cooper, LeVar Burton, Aaron Rodgers, but they didn't really quite hit that mark for Sony. And Richards actually has really deep roots in the game show industry. He produced for the Game Show Network. He had auditioned for Price is Right after Bob Barker passed away, but he ended up becoming producer. He was a producer on Wheel of Fortune. Like, so he has like extensive knowledge in this industry. And he has co-hosted and hosted other things before. I can't tell you what they are because I don't know. But yeah, so he wasn't even supposed to be on the list for them. I guess like their head list, or what do they call it?
Yeah.
A headhunter, basically. And Sony is actually the one who made that decision. But it's been like largely criticized because it feels very Cheney a la Bush is what the Times article I read kind of alluded to. So Cheney was supposed to find the vice president for President Bush's campaign, but then he ended up becoming the candidate instead, which I thought was kind of funny to allude to. But
Yeah,
yeah,
just say nobody
the-
else fits the bill and like, oh, why don't I do it?
yeah. And the girl, her last name is Balik. She's from Big Bang Theory. She's like the astrophysicist, like in real life. She
Oh,
is.
yeah.
She's supposed, yeah, Amy. She's supposed to guest star like on their Prime show slot. So right now she's only scheduled for one, and Mike Richards is for the rest of them. But
I would prefer like her over anybody else that we've talked about, just because
Mhm.
even like she has that presence about her.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. She got her own spin-off show, or not spin-off, but she got her own, TV show with her in the cat cafe, and I just didn't love it.
I didn't even know she had one.
Mhm. We
This-
only got like 1 to 3 episodes in. Like I just it was meh to me. But I think she would be a good fit for a host because she is a neuroscientist. Like half of these topics are her shit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have the Jeopardy game for my Switch, so I think I'm going to be playing that more lately. It just in honor of Alex Trebek. And I thought it was interesting. It was just like so much drama, like trying to find the next Alex Trebek. But I guess I have to agree with Ethan. Like there is no other Alex Trebek. And Jeopardy and Alex Trebek are like synonymous. So I'll be interested to see how the show does after.
And it'll
So
be in
you brought up CSI earlier, and I gotta wave my fist at him. I'm so pissed off at that, right?
Pissed off at
So,
what?
so CSI started. It was the first show, right? And it took
Mhm.
place in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So now that they branched out so much of the other ones, they canceled CSI like 3 years ago, and now they're bringing it back under the name CSI Las Vegas. Like they demoted it for one,
Like, it's not the CSI anymore.
but they brought back all the same people. Like they brought back all the characters. They're just older. And then they like demoted it to one of the branded ones. So they're like CSI Miami and CSI this.
That one was my favorite. CSI
right?
Miami.
So now you have CSI, like CSI the original is not going to be CSI Las Vegas, and it's just like, right? Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Why would you do this?
I do love CSI Miami though, and NCIS. It's not NCSI. It's NCIS. I actually really love that one too. So those are like my two CSI shows.
After they got Gibbs off that show, I stopped watching.
What? Gibbs goes off the show?
Yeah, you never heard about it? It was like
No.
a real life thing though. So he became one of the main directors of the series in the later episodes.
Hmm.
And so him and other actors like got into this big altercation and he started throwing shit at people. And so they fired him from the show.
Wow.
That's why.
I can see it.
That's why you don't throw shit at people, dude.
Mhm.
You just stroke your beard. Just
Yeah, but he left, then Abby left, and then it just like free falls from there to where everybody was
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
mm.
Abby rocked. But yeah, that was the drama with Jeopardy.
Interested to see like how it goes because, like Ethan said earlier, Price is Right. We lost Bob Barker, but
Mhm.
what they did was move Drew Carey over from Whose Line Is It Anyway? So we were already familiar with Drew Carey. We loved him for what he had, but I mean, how many
See,
times have you watched The Price is Right since Drew Carey got on?
I've been waiting
Like
for this.
ever.
And in all
Yeah.
fairness, I've seen as much as that as I've seen the regular Price is Right, right?
I love
'Cause-
Price is Right.
But the time of day, right? You had to like stay home from school
Yeah.
and you would
Mhm.
watch it. But anyway, so the comparison the debunking of the comparison I can make is that The Price is Right is an infomercial and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
The whole point is to sell the stuff. So it makes sense to be a cash grab. Jeopardy had a different feel about it.
With bringing in the guy that nobody really recognizes is them not making it a cash grab because they could put LeVar Burton and use his name to bring more people into it. Or
Well, yeah,
even
no, I mean, yes, you're right. But again, they could also use the person that Alex Trebek said you should leave. Right? The
Yeah.
person that fans know that could carry on the spirit of the show. I think that's the biggest downside, right? Like,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
when they change the spirit of the show, people stop watching. And that's the biggest hurdle that most of the shows have had because they just remake everything now.
Yeah, I can
Mhm.
see that point. Kind of like another live action Disney movie.
Right?
Yeah.
No, but honestly, how many more live action Disney movies would you go see?
None.
Yeah, right? Like there's nothing
Yeah.
that interests you.
Aladdin was the last good one. Mulan was. We talked about Mulan. It's garbage.
It's not good.
Yeah,
But you know what else is not garbage?
What?
The Texas housing market. It's actually extremely hot right now.
It's a booming.
hot for buyers or hot for sellers?
Well, so that's the question. Like, where's it gonna head to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have two options. There's the housing bubble popping, and then so for somebody who owns a home right now, the options are you could sell right now and bank a whole lot of cash. But that's only if the housing bubble pops. Now, the downside is there's been so many people moving and so many relocations and people buying up homes. I don't see the housing bubble popping. I see the rental market popping,
Mm-hmm.
which is even scarier. So, why would you not want to be locked in and own your home right now?
Right.
So, yeah. So, do you sell and make the money or do you hold on? Because if you're selling, then you're hoping that it crashes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I got to buy a new house and now I have this much money. So if it crashes, I can buy something bigger and better with the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just don't see the housing market crashing.
You know what? I get that. Because, I mean, both moratoriums are stopping people, like the homeowners moratorium and the renters moratorium that the U.S. Constitution has pushed through and Biden has pushed through. They're stopping people from
Well, it's
being evicted.
Just Biden.
Oh, okay, just Biden. My apologies.
So that's
Biden.
that's the whole controversy behind it, is that the Supreme Court said that the Congress has to pass a law or pass legislation to enact this,
Mm-hmm.
and the the executive branch said, well, we can get around that if we use this one specific CDC power that says and other items and count this as a other item. And then,
Mhm.
so like that's the whole issue of the legal problems behind it.
I mean, if everyone who hasn't been able to pay months worth of rent because of the pandemic, if they're suddenly out of a house, then that's oh my god, I can't even think of of what'll happen because of it. Like that could
So-
cause a crash itself for people just being forced out of their house. It puts all these
Well-
houses on the markets and people are already buying above price.
So this is another thing, right? So when you think about it, how the eviction moratorium is making it worse, right? And
Okay.
the argument is that if I am renting you a house and you don't pay me and I can't
Mhm.
evict you,
Mm-hmm.
then I can't pay the bill. So then the bank forecloses on the house and they evict you.
Mm-hmm.
Or I evict you and I can get another renter in and I can pay the mortgage to the bank. So
That's true.
the way the dominoes are falling is that, yeah, it sucks to evict people, but it's either these people are going to get evicted by the bank or the homeowner. Who would you rather evict them?
So, is there any other, like with this eviction moratorium, like, is there any other policy or procedure in place for that reason? Like, is there like emergency stay on that mortgage to the bank, or like what does that process look like?
So that comes back to the Supreme Court ruling that came through, and anything involving housing. So when you get government and housing involved, a lot of issues come up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Supreme Court said what needs to happen is anything involving these emergency powers and mortgages needs to go through Congress, which makes sense because those are people we elect, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Congress tried a little bit, but they really didn't push it, right? Like they proposed like one bill, it got shot down, and then that was it. So the moratorium that was in place that was already ruled unconstitutional was extended. So that it's like, do you take the band-aid off and clean the wound, or do you continue putting band-aids on it, right?
Yikes! I do not envy our
Jesus.
congressman or anybody. Like that's a tough decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that brings us back, right? So do you sell a home? Do you buy a home right now? Or if you go buy a house right now, are you buying at top market and then the market crashes and now you're underwater?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like what does anybody do right now?
You know, I hate to say this, but I would rather the renter be evicted. Only because if the homeowner loses the house, and that'll cause the market to crash, right?
That's what will cause the market to crash.
Yeah.
So
But I see where
in
you're
my
coming
opinion, everybody's screen's frozen. Hold on.
at. While
Ah.
Crazy catches up, Morgan, thank you for that lurk, buddy. We appreciate that. Ryzen, what's up, bro? Yeah, I see you. No.
So I feel like everybody's frozen but me.
Yeah, no.
Hey, I
don't
can
have
see y'all
anybody
now.
frozen.
Nope,
Yeah.
y'all still frozen.
Can you hear us though?
It's just you, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just him.
I can hear you through my phone. I can, but y'all can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I can hear you through my phone.
You might need to close Discord or reopen
All
it.
right.
It's being a little bitch today.
Yeah.
It's being a little bee.
Do we have to switch to the technical difficulties thing?
Oh, he froze. There he went. Oh, I think you froze, though.
It is kind of cute.
All right, we'll keep him there.
I love it.
Well, now you're absolutely right, Ryzen.
So here's an Eevee.
Ooh.
See it better.
Oh yeah, I did some 3D printing today.
And its ear is a little like messed up, but it's okay.
I'm gonna print
It just
bigger.
means it just shows that Eevee has character and a total gangster. Been in some scraps before.
You can barely see it, but right on top of my nozzle, right here, that little white thing that I'm like kind of covering right there, that's a tiny Bulbasaur. I printed it earlier. Oh, actually, hold on. I'm gonna show the stream so that they can see. Is that okay with y'all?
I mean, it's just a smaller version of this.
Yeah. Ooh,
It's
you're
like
right.
teeny tiny. It's teeny tiny. Like it can fit on like your finger.
Yeah. Give me a quick second, guys. I'm gonna have to turn off some of the elements because we are down a person.
Mm-hmm.
But so
Now,
here's
Ryzen, you're
my,
so nice.
look at how cute Crazy is stuck like that. Aww.
I did share the picture of his frozen shot in Clips and Media Galore.
So for our friends who are in stream right now, if you avert your eyes to this one little spot right there on top of the 3D printer, that is the tiny Bulbasaur moving back and forth with the 3D print.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Oh no, my cameras are green.
Oh,
I'll be right back.
goodness.
No.
See, this just goes on to like that we're in cyber warfare and our fucking servers are being attacked or something.
Yeah, but while we wait for NJ, I'm gonna show off my tiny
I'm back.
Bulbasaur, my 3D print. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Ooh, hey, where were we?
I don't know. Where were we?
Housing market might crash, might not.
Oh, so the last thing
How
that
you
I
do?
said, the 3D printer I said, I bought it on sale, so it was like $220, I think. So what I said before you crashed and then you permanently crashed and then NJ crashed is I would rather the renters be evicted for non-payment so that the homeowner can continue to rent it, because if the house goes up if multiple houses go for foreclosure, the market will crash. But if the market crashes, that allows for new people to buy homes. So it's a really tough situation to be in.
So you want to hear the conspiracy crazy 10 theory or
All
hat
right.
theory?
All right, let's hear it.
All right. So the big investment banks, right? They are forcing a crash because they want to put rental houses on their balance sheet as revenue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they force a moratorium to stay closed,
Mm-hmm.
then they force the wreck, they force the foreclosures, and then they buy all the houses dirt cheap, rent them out, and they make the money back, in 10 years instead of 20 years.
Yeah, that's true. But doesn't the moratorium also provide it provides finances for you to be able to pay back your rent, doesn't it though?
So it gives you, so no, it has given some people money, but it gives money to the renters. And
Mhm.
then there
Okay.
was no stipulation of the money. So if they bought food or gas or water with it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, so basically they could use that money for any way they wanted to.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
I mean, that's been a lot of the issues with all of the stimulus and the whole 9 yards, right? Like they print a bunch of stimulus money, and how much of us spending on Amazon?
Yeah.
So
Jeffrey Bezos, you did it. Sorry.
Yay.
right. So I don't know. What do we do at this point, right?
Yeah.
Except
It's like, how do you sell your house on a high price and then wait for the house that you want to go to the low price
a
without
crash.
renting an apartment?
Crash.
Well, that was going to be my question. Like, if you guys were to sell your house, and would you just like, hypothetically, if you were to do this, like, would you just wait in an apartment until the market went down and then buy a house? Like, is that what people are trying to do? Or
I
no?
mean, that would be a very viable option. I mean, like we've had to have that
We-
conversation.
I think what we would seriously look into is probably an RV, because we've been looking into an RV anyways. So if we did decide to do something, what
What?
am I wrong?
Nothing. I
Am
don't
I
know.
wrong?
He's just like, shut up. We don't want people to know that we're going to get an RV.
No. This is like we haven't talked about we've talked about RVs, but
Wow.
not one big enough to live in.
I think at
These are
that point it's a
puzzles, big
mobile
plans.
home.
I don't know.
No, I want to hear like
We could rough it for like 3 months or so.
Wow.
We have to put everything else in storage.
Just do you see that crazy? He's like, no.
well, no, it wouldn't be no 3 months. Like right now, if we were to sell our house, so that'd be the downside, right? If we were to sell our house right now, we would make money, right?
Hmm.
But we would have to wait about 2 years.
Then we better be building,
Well, yeah. So yeah,
because I can only do, if I'm gonna have to go for longer than 6 months to wait on the house that I really want, then it's gonna be the house that we built.
Your dream
It's-
house.
Yeah. If I have to be 2
Okay.
years in an RV, then yes, it's gonna be
so
not perfect.
everybody, please go sub to Puzzled's channel.
So wait, no. I want
Keep
you
us out of the
guys,
RV.
guys. No. I need y'all to know. My parents were given a mobile home, a double wide mobile home, and they told themselves, we'll live in it 2 years. No problem. We'll build ourselves a nice house and we'll continue to rent out spaces at the RV park. That is not what fucking happened. They built around that mobile home.
Oh yeah,
Totally live in a mobile home. I grew up in them bitches.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
My mom's family still prefers mobile homes, and we're talking like they could have a very nice house, but they would rather
Jeez.
have 5 boats in a mobile home.
I mean,
Make it
life,
work.
man. Yeah.
Right?
Like, that's
They
what
have-
makes me happy.
No,
They have
Yeah,
5 boats
right,
in a
like-
mobile home. I see no problem here.
Yeah, my uncle got his dream boat. He bought his dream car,
Hmm.
and I mean they have a new mobile home, right? Like they've bought a new one, but it's like there you go. He's like, fuck it, I don't care where I live as long as I got what I want.
I mean, that
Yeah, boat.
works. Yeah, I see no
There you
problem with
go.
that. He's got 5 boats. He can live on those 5 boats.
But
You know what
so
I
it's a
would,
precarious situation. And what would you do, Alan?
if I were to live in a mobile home, I'd buy myself the Steam Deck.
Well, I was gonna say before we transition, I was just gonna ask,
Yeah.
are y'all has the market piqued y'all's interest to keep looking, or
No, if anything, it's just like after seeing like what these houses are going for, I'm like, no, we're gonna wait. Like,
Yeah.
because I mean, realistically, you're looking at like before all this happened, maybe around 200K to 250. Like 250 would be our high point. Those
Mhm.
same houses are going for like 400 to 600 right now. There's no fucking way. If I'm gonna buy a house, it's not gonna be some rinky dink house. Like, it's gonna be like a good starter house that we could stay in for a good amount of time. So yeah, definitely, we would wait.
Yeah, perform a few upgrades. Not like a few as in 8 or 9. I mean a few as in 1 or 2.
So you're saying you're gonna
Max
take
4.
all the money you saved for a house, dump it into Bitcoin, and wait a few years to buy a house?
Yeah.
No.
I'm just like, I mean, I could get away with like 1 Bitcoin, maybe.
Goddamn, girl! Like you can go buy any house you want right now. You can buy 1 Bitcoin.
Oh, wait, probably not. I don't know. Maybe I'm not thinking of it right, but
I think Bitcoin.
a portion of a Bitcoin.
What? It's in like the $80,000 right now.
Oh, yeah. Then
No, it's about 47. I think it's about 46, 47 right now.
Okay, almost a Bitcoin. Like,
Oh,
but-
$46,000. Yeah.
I would, yeah, maybe. Isn't that crazy? Like your whole like lifetime savings, and you're like, oh, it's one coin. That's it. Just that's all you get.
And you don't
I
even
know,
get to
but
hold it.
But when it hits them, you can you could technically put it into a flash drive and hold it in your hand if you wanted.
Yeah.
Can we have Alan 3D print some Bitcoin so that we can say we have Bitcoin?
I mean,
but I-
I'm working on something now. I don't see why not. I'll throw it in. It'll print right there
Can
on
you
the
print
side.
like an eighth of a Bitcoin?
This is what you're worth.
God damn. You know, okay. I will start a print of a large Bitcoin that'll fit the whole thing. As soon as it gets to an 1/8% of the way, I'll stop it and I'll give it to y'all.
No, you just make a breakaway one so you can break off the eighths.
Like little chocolates.
Here, go buy yourself a house.
But I just want to buy the Steam Deck.
Did you reserve it or no?
I'll be honest with y'all. I did. I'm gonna start off this next segment right now. I did in fact reserve a Steam Deck. I didn't reserve the $399 one. I reserved a $529 one because I wanted the better glass. Not the better glass, the better
fancy.
storage. I wanted the better storage on it because one is just better. Like that's a higher rating of storage, which has already been reviewed by everyone, mind you. And number two, I ain't no broke ass bitch. I'm not getting the base model.
So, okay, you went back and forth for like literally a week about whether or not to reserve it. What changed your mind?
So I see a lot of good things happening. First of all, the first thing that really kind of clued me in that this is going to be a good product, Valve worked with IGN to provide a multitude of videos of first looks, hardware breakdowns, interviews with developers, both hardware and software side, like telling them the decisions as to why they did certain things, why it looks the way it is, why the buttons are made in a certain way. And then they got into videos of the actual product itself and the overall review. And these were released like over a full week. And that was the week that I was debating. It was the second week after they announced it. And then the week after that, Valve doesn't tell anyone that they're doing videos with other YouTubers until those YouTubers start releasing the information. Like Linus Tech Tips reviewed the thing for like a solid 2 hours in a 45-minute video, and he rated it highly. And he tested out other products that were comparable or similar. He even took another one. He had a fucking the heat gun, the heat camera gun, the one that tells you how hot it is, because they wouldn't let him open the device, but he was able to ascertain exactly how airflow is going, how the build kind of is. He couldn't ask any questions build wise, but everything in that video and all the other supported videos, like Adam Savage's tested YouTube channel, they rated it too, and they rated it highly. So that really sold me on it.
Is this different from any other Steam powered machine that they've released so far?
Wait, it's actually Steam powered?
It's Steam powered because that's their brand.
I know, I'm just
Choo choo.
Exactly.
You gotta load it with, you just pour some water in it, man.
Yeah. Once you hear the that means that it's ready. But
JK, it's nuclear powered.
Compared to all the other devices that they released in the past, like the Steam controller, the Steam Link, the not the 3D, oh my god, with the headset, the 3D virtual headset that they created, that they teamed up with someone else for, like, those were great products. They just didn't market them well.
Yeah, I can honestly say that. I would say Steam, I never see them market anything.
I'll tell you one thing though. They released the trailer today for the Steam Deck. They learned from their mistakes. I think it's been a build-up for years as to where they wanted to go. They just didn't have the technology to do it. Because even the developers in the IGN videos said that the biggest contributor to the Steam Deck was their controller. Because their controller was the fanciest fucking controller. It didn't even have joysticks. It had pads where you can move your fingers and it would sense like which direction to go. And it had full fourth dimensional gyroscopics. So like if you moved in a certain angle or moved a certain way, it would react to it. No other controller had that except for the PlayStation 5 controller now.
Wow. That's pretty cool. I hope it goes well for them in terms of like other people reacting really positively. It's always a good sign whenever like the tech guys that are like really well known and well respected in the industry rate you higher. I think it would assure like at least a strong first quarter of sales for them.
Yeah, they're already sold out for first quarter and second quarter. My reservation is for after quarter 2 of 2022. So I don't even think I'm gonna get mine till October.
Damn.
Birthday present.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Treat yourself.
Another one.
I need 2. NJ needs 1.
I barely play my Switch right now. It's like, what am I gonna do with all these consoles?
Wow.
What a first world problem.
After a certain point, you need more.
Yeah.
I have a mighty need.
Pretty much.
More.
So I don't know if it's Sylvie's messing with Puzzled's chair or not, but I've seen her chair move twice, and it's either Ghost or Sylvie.
No, it's him. If one of us gets up out of a chair, he will sit in the chair.
Ah. So what do you guys think of the Steam Deck? Are you guys gonna buy one?
I probably won't buy one because there's no for me, there's not much use, right?
Mhm.
It's like I barely play my PC or my Switch or my Xbox now.
Mm-hmm.
But it would definitely be cool to own one day.
Okay.
Puzzler, we were talking about your chair moving. That's what you came into.
Yeah. You're still muted.
Puzzle.
You're muted. What?
My bad. No, okay. I was trying to remember what the Steam Deck was. That was the handheld PC one, right?
Yeah, that looks like the Switch, but just bigger and without the
okay.
Joy-Cons.
I was thinking. I guess I was originally thinking of Stream Deck. Wasn't that the one with the pad with the buttons?
Yeah, but that's by Elgato. That's a completely different company.
Okay.
That was NJ, my bad. Sorry, I gotta retcon that, guys. I was in charge of the tweet this week, and I fucked it up.
No,
you're good. You're good.
Deck this, deck that, deck the halls with Basil Holly, you know?
Yep. Deck this.
These nuts.
Got him.
She does say that on the reg, though.
No, the name is the only problem. They could have called it fucking anything else. They could have called it Steam Mobile or fucking
the Steam Machine.
The Steam Machine. Yeah, I would have bought the fuck out of that. Yeah.
Crazy. You should get into marketing.
For real,
saying it for years.
Professional namer.
So, what do you guys think? Are you guys interested in this product? Like, maybe
I'll be interested to see you play it, and then maybe like try it, and then I don't know. I'm kind of on board with Ethan. Like, I need to get my actual PC like up and running.
I'm working on that. Processors are on back order, and we're waiting.
Yeah, we got a trip planned to Taiwan so we can pick them up on our own.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know a guy, Norkla. He'll help us out.
Oh, that's true.
Norkla in the Philippines.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the way.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, you know, it's just like Brazil and Mexico. It's all one thing.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Panama's around there somewhere.
If you're geographically challenged, just say so.
Raise your hand. So I'm looking forward to the Steam Deck because I'm looking at my library now. I have 140 games uncategorized. A total number of games that I own is 212. Like I'd like to play some of these games and not be tied to my desk, you know? Like instead of just like I gotta work here and I gotta play video games here. I'd like to be able to take my computer with me to the couch and lounge there or upstairs instead of having to plug in my Ethernet cable to my laptop to be able to play remotely. Plus, you can play remotely with the Steam Deck from your PC too if you don't have the game downloaded on your Steam Deck itself.
So what I'm waiting for is in the office, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they come out with the pyramid phone, you remember that?
Yes.
They're like, you have to buy the optional battery pack if you want more than 5 minutes of conversation. And if you want this attachment. So it's like, how is it going to be? Are you going to get this badass handheld PC and the battery die after an hour?
So those are some of my concerns, and I mean these hands-on tests that they did at Valve headquarters, they were with other Valve employees. So one of the things they weren't able to test is longevity of the device, but they were developer alpha devices. So, you know, what we see in alpha isn't going to be the same hardware that they're using at release.
Exactly. So in alpha, they could be using a state-of-the-art carbon fiber battery, right?
Mm-hmm.
It does some crazy bullshit. Well, they can't mass produce that, so they could slap a lithium in there, and you get a quarter of what, you know, you're getting on that alpha.
Illegal. How's that legal? Like, are those like prototypes or like that's like false advertising?
They were prototypes, but they were official prototypes. So they were alpha devices. So it's not the no, they weren't alpha. They were beta devices. So it's not the earliest build, but it's the versions after that. It's an official build. It's what they have their schematics based off of.
So is it kind of like, I'm going to put it in fashion terms. The designer puts their, design wear on the runway and everybody sees it and shows it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 years later, you see that stuff kind of completely broken down and disassembled in the outlet malls.
Pretty much.
Kind of, yeah.
Or is it like a wish order where it has the really pretty dress and then what you get is literally the worst thing you've ever laid your eyes on?
See, that's what I'm hoping doesn't happen. That's going to be like a big issue once the device is actually released. And I mean, we're already halfway through 2021.
And that's like the holdback for me for pre-ordering, right? Like I want to see and I want to hear. So I would have been a little more intrigued if they let them actually do a hard dive into the system. They didn't. Like, at least let play to battery length or do this. Like, actually test the system.
I don't think we're going to see anything like that once they come close to release. Once they have a final version. And, I mean, just based off them, like, announcing it, then 2 weeks later, hey, here are videos of people playing with them from your favorite YouTube channels. Like, that was quick turnaround. So I think that they've had this plan for a while.
Lot better. Yeah. Well, you know who's not marketing very well?
Who?
It's mask mandate.
Y'all,
the politicians of San Antonio.
It's definitely San Antonio. But I mean, okay. So Abbott put out his no mask mandate a few months ago, banning people from saying you have to force people to wear a mask at any point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the schools of San Antonio, Bexar County, Houston, Harris County, Dallas, and Dallas County all put out temporary restraining orders against the no mask mandate, saying that students and staff will have to wear masks on the premises. So the Supreme Court decided to come out and say, nope, you can't do that. That is unconstitutional. We are revoking this. And then about an hour or two ago, I know for, Bexar County at least has put out a temporary injunction against the Supreme Court's rulings and has said, no, our students and staff will be wearing masks at the school.
I think that they were like following like a lower court's ruling because the Texas Supreme Court couldn't rule on it. I think they did a temporary like no mask mandate, like it was temporary until their actual ruling, and then that will come down to it. So I think the current counties were using the lower court ruling as like their legal loophole. That was to my understanding.
That makes sense.
But then again, it's like the highest court in the area made a ruling. Why are you trying to overstep that?
They're trying to protect their teachers. I mean,
they're not trying to protect. No. So that's what it comes down to it, though. So it comes down to it. If you believe masks work, right, then you put a mask on and you put your children's mask on.
But that's not how masks work.
You don't want me imposing my ideology on your children. So why would you impose yours on my children? You know, like that's what it comes down to.
So here's a thought. Why don't the people who don't want to mask up keep their kids at home?
Yeah.
Well, but you can say that right back the other way. The people who are afraid to put their kids out in public should keep their kids at home. That's like, you could say it that way too.
But you really can't, because in Texas, we've seen a 50% increase in our COVID cases in the last 2 weeks alone.
And
there was also 200,000 illegal immigrants that came over the border of Texas last month alone.
And we're not talking about them right now.
Most of them carrying COVID though. Like there's a 900% increase at the border itself of COVID cases. There's cause to say that the people coming over are bringing it also. So if we're not going to address one problem that's bringing it in, why are we making such a big deal about it?
I'm sure if you isolate both those numbers, yeah, it will be higher with illegal immigrants coming in. But just speaking about Texas citizens in itself, that number is higher in a lot of different states that have a large unvaccinated population.
Florida and Tennessee.
But you're not going to get anyone to vaccinate. So that's this is what it comes down to, right? Like, so the people who are doing the constant lawsuits, are the people who are trying to force you to mandate vaccines, force you to mandate masks, right? So instead of them stopping, listening to the other people and working with them, they're just saying, no, it's going to be our way or the highway.
I think a large part of it is that one group is really hung up on your personal right and the other group's hung up on public safety and health. So how can you get the two to merge?
Again, people aren't going to trust you if you're only telling them to do things and you're not doing anything to back it up.
But how can we trust people when people in Florida, parents in Florida, one parent in particular, send their COVID positive kid to school and they got 80 other kids and possible infections? Like that kid had COVID and the parent took him to school anyway. And then in Florida, there are four teachers who died because of COVID. Georgia alone threw away like 6,500 vaccinations of 6,500 doses.
Those four teachers were unvaccinated too.
But
which is really sad.
Yeah, but again, those people made their personal choice, and like we can't decide what Florida people are going to do with their daily lives. Like we have to eventually draw the line in the sand and stop telling other people how to live their lives. And I think the frustration. I support the Supreme Court of Texas's ruling that says you can say this is mandated, but you can't. There's no legal backing to it, right? So, like, you can put up a sign at Walmart that says mask required to enter, right? Most people are going to put it on, but you can't arrest somebody for not putting a mask on.
They can just reserve the right to not.
But you can't do that at schools. Schools are
Yeah.
public.
Yeah.
Public schools, at least.
And
Again, so if it's a public space, then you have to take all public opinion into account. And if we know anything,
But it's not
public
a matter of
opinion
opinion.
But
It's not a
matter of
matter of
fact,
public
opinion is
opinion.
saying that people don't trust the vaccines. People don't trust the information that they're being told because they're only just being told. They're not being shown. Right?
Okay. Well, here is like something to show like 42 million people in the US, young people ages between 8 and 17 have had COVID. That there's not enough time to have studied this, but in what they're seeing now is children that have had COVID, it really messes up their whole growth. They go through puberty. It stunts that process that they're seeing so far. Not only the psychological effects that it has on them. There's perfectly healthy children that have had COVID and they can't be vaccinated because they're not of the age yet. And they were athletes before and now they have trouble breathing. Like to me,
but so coming in,
but
so
to
like right
me,
now,
it's not a public opinion matter. It's a scientific matter. These are the
but
numbers.
people are only choosing both sides are only choosing to believe what their scientists are saying. So
It's-
there's no working together. This even so like the courts, like it comes back to the scientists and the courts, right? So I don't like what your court said, even so I'm going to go to a different one. And that's one of the big items that we've had issues with is I don't like what this doctor said, so I'm going to go to this doctor, right? But this doctor is going to tell me what I want to hear. And that's what they're getting. A lot of people are being told just what they want to hear and then they accept it. And then they try to enforce what they've accepted upon everybody else.
Well, something that's not being forced upon them is that Texas averages over 12,000 cases of COVID daily.
Yeah.
Daily.
But again, they also are proving that like the Johnson & Johnson shot is less than 50% effective with Delta strain. The Moderna one is the only one that's above 60% effective with this strain. They've proven this so far.
But isn't some part of we're talking about mask mandates, not vaccinations.
Yeah.
But with vaccinations,
Yeah, but it all comes back to why are they mandating the mask is because of the virus. If we're already proven that we can't control and we can't do anything about it,
But we
then
can.
eventually we have to start coming to live a normal life with this virus. And some of that means building a natural immunity and breathing some fresh air.
we can't achieve herd immunity without more people getting vaccinated.
yeah.
Yes,
Or
natural immunity. It's happened for thousands of years before vaccines. But so like right now, the vaccine, right? We were told one shot and you're done. The virus will go away. Well, now they're trying to roll out boosters. They've already prepared for a fourth shot. Like they're getting people ready. So it's like clearly somebody doesn't know what they're doing.
Well,
Clearly, we all don't know what we're doing.
They're having to
So-
do the multiple shots because people aren't getting vaccinated in much more rural areas like India. That's where the Delta variant is from, and they had the highest cases of like February and March because of the Delta variant.
But then it
the-
also dropped the face, like it just dropped off a cliff. Their numbers too after Delta passed through. So that the studies also say that Delta comes through. We can't control Delta, but it drops off very rapidly, right? So we do like I'm not against some of the items. I'm just us being available to people. I'm against the mandates. Like I'm against somebody saying that if you want to walk in HEB, you have to have this mask on, or I'm arresting you. Like you gotta go buy food for your family no matter what, right? So
serious question, and it's not being facetious. Why does it matter so much to you? Like I genuinely want to know that.
because the biggest thing right now is too many people are just doing what they're told, right? And the pack of sheep always lead you off a cliff, right? If you follow the pack, you're gonna fall off a cliff, right? So eventually, the biggest thing is having people stand up and have individual thoughts and making individual choices, right? So mandating it takes that away. So
I see your point. I just don't agree, and I don't think we'll ever agree. And that's okay, I guess.
I will never agree with telling somebody else how to live their life.
I think when it comes to the subject of great or good, like sometimes it's necessary.
But if
So,
that's
okay.
what is, you could justify anything for the greater good, and that's some of the scariest parts, right? So some of the biggest human tragedies that we have ever made were put in the guise of for the greater good.
Okay, then look at it this way: the greater evil. Which is a greater evil? Wearing masks to protect other people, or the COVID-19 variants that could kill other people if you're carrying it, including yourself?
So to answer that, for me personally, the submitting to a mask mandate is an evil that we've known throughout our history, right? Some unknown variant is something I don't know. So I have to make the choice about something that we've seen do evil or something that might do evil. And I'd rather fight a virus than, human history.
When it comes to like going back to the mask mandate in Texas in public schools, our child is wearing a mask, and that does not say that's our choice for him. Even like playing with friends outside, you social distance, you can't go to anybody's house, and that's our personal procedure that we have going for this. And what other parents do, you can't control that, and I get that. I just thinking about it in terms of hurt children is kind of what gears me the most. I mean, our children's hospital here in San Antonio, the number of kids that are on either tethered to oxygen machines is pretty high. Like our projected hospitalizations are expected to climb over 15,000 by the end of August. Like it's scary to me. When you put it in terms of children, that scares me too. Like as a mom, like I don't want any parent to go through that, to see their child hurt or sick, when it could have been prevented by everybody just wearing a mask. And that's where I'm coming from.
But so, and I get that, but sometimes, like me personally, I go to work every day with a higher chance than 99%, right? Like I probably have a 95% chance something bad is going to happen. Just the line of work I'm in. So I've adapted to the risk, right? And it's not, so to put it like COVID. So last year they projected 2 million people dead, right? And that in the US alone was supposed to be about 2 million. We are not even the adjusted numbers I think are less than are 500,000.
No, we're at
I don't know the
600,000
numbers.
last I saw.
Well, they just adjusted a bunch of numbers. That's what I'm saying. They just adjusted some numbers. So, but again, so we've been preparing for the worst for over a year. So when are we going to start looking on the positive side and expect that the possibility that COVID's not going to go away?
And that's another part too. Like COVID's not, it's not like, oh, and this is all over, it's not like that anymore. Like if you have that thought, like you're pretty naive. And what does normalcy look like? And I want to get back to normal too. I would love to be able to go to, a restaurant or anything without worrying about who has been exposed to COVID or, taking it to my mom or anything like that. I just think in the meantime, we have to bunker down. And that's my personal opinion.
I think that's only going to make it worse. Like avoiding a problem is only going to make a problem worse. Where
I don't see it as avoiding a problem.
But if we can say, so from the evidence we've been given, right, that if you took any shot but the Moderna shot, there's a 50% chance that you can catch COVID still.
It doesn't make you immune from COVID. It just helps you lessen your symptoms.
okay, so then if they mandate that if you have a vaccine and you don't wear a mask, then you're just passing it around, aren't you, at that point? Like, so that's where you come into all these mask mandates and all where everything points, and they all counter or they all contradict themselves down the line somewhere, right? Like, I can't go to a restaurant unless I'm wearing a mask, but if I sit down, I take the mask off. What was the purpose of wearing the mask in the first place, right? Like, I'm
I
already
agree with you.
exposing myself in that.
Mhm.
If you say, well, unvaccinated people have to wear a mask, but vaccinated people don't have to wear a mask, but they can still carry the virus and they can still spread it, then what is the purpose of the mask mandate in the first place? Like, every argument that has been presented on mask mandates has fallen apart, and we've seen this over a year. Like, we have a year of experience on our own to know that I need to have hand sanitizer in my vehicle. So as soon as I get in my vehicle, I have hand sanitizer. As soon as I get out of my vehicle at the end of the day, I spray a little disinfectant. I head into the home. I wash my hands when I get home. Like, there's all these things that we can be encouraging people to do and processes to get in habits of. But instead, we have politicians arguing over who should wear a mask and who shouldn't, when ideally we have to believe that humans are smart enough to make a decision.
I'm not very hopeful. But I see what you're saying. Like, look at it from a community outreach like initiative to get people cleaner, hygienic, or something like that. I can see that point.
It's just hard when you have
You know-
so many people who are adamantly against any type of vaccination.
But they're not. But see, that's so that's the biggest misconception, right? Because I get that all the time because I've personally made that choice, right? It's not against vaccines. It's not against all this. It's what's happening, man. It's like we're the generation of infomercials. If mesothelioma, right? Like, we're that generation, and we've already seen that the vaccine that they've put out, because they did such a fast process on it, is not as effective as we want, right? Like, it's not what we thought. And so one thing I contemplate is if I take this vaccine and in a year and a half they put out a different, more effective vaccine, but I can't take it because of what will happen if they mix, then did I make the right decision, right? Did I jump the gun? Was I alarmist? Like, there's so many questions that go back and forth, and to, I don't know, look down upon people because they made a different medical choice than you is, I don't know. I think that's against everything that people have been working for medical rights over the last 20 years.
Well, see, that's. Go ahead.
And look at the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. How many women were affected by that one?
I can say I know more people that have adverse reactions to that vaccine than who have had complications with COVID. Now, that's not to like break any, that's not down to dismiss anything, but I can only go off what I see or, what I experience.
I knew this was going to be a hot topic. I did not know it was going to be this hot, guys.
Hey, you're passionate, right? And we're able to have a dialogue and gain understanding to why we think the way that we think. And I think that's the important part.
I'm proud of you guys.
What are we doing this week?
Yeah.
We stand our ground.
No, but at the end of the day, and that's like, that's the heart of all the whole argument, I believe, against the mandates, right? At the end of the day, everybody has the right to their opinion, and we shouldn't be forcing our own opinions upon people. Unless they're on the other end of a mic and I'm yelling at them.
And on that note,
What Circle of Jerks doing this week?
We got a good one. Boomer for the win.
oh my
Yeah.
God, I tuned into his stream. He's a fun guy. You guys are going to have
I
a
love
great...
his streams. I think him and Peach will really get along because he does Rocksmith a lot too.
Mhm. We
Like,
we
he was
chatted about that
jam-
one time.
Oh, he was singing fuck. Let's get it, girls.
I'm going out
Not
tonight.
tonight.
I'm feeling all right. Gonna let
Shania-
it all hang.
Twain.
Twain.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the name of that song?
I can't remember off.
Man, I
I
feel, like a woman. That's what it is. Yeah.
Like, I'll just do the whole performance. Like, you don't.
Hey, it's Spartan. Happy
But
Monday.
you can't though. You can't. That's supposed to Spartan.
So yeah, you guys are gonna have Bloomer. It's gonna be a fun time. I can't wait to tune in on a Wednesday.
I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun time. It's gonna be great.
Friday, we are going to be coming back with You Heard. We will be talking about our book Renegades by Melissa Mayer Mayer. And then Sunday, you can catch us in our Discord under chapter 2 discussion. We're going to be talking about the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Whoop, whoop. I'm very excited about that.
What else to do?
I have so much reading to do this week too. That's why Peach is doing clips today. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome.
That's why Crazy is doing the long drive.
That. Yeah, Ryzen's fired up today. I'm just sorry, Ryzen. I'm just catching up on everything.
Boy, is it good. I'm glad that you think so, Ryzen.
The third book of Shadow and Bone.
Oh my god, I still need to read the first one. Oh,
Dude, I
watch
just
the
wait
show.
for the movie.
The TV series.
the TV
She
adaptation.
won't read out loud to me, right? I tell her all the time, just read it out loud to me, and she refuses. She hates
It's because the voices in your head are different than the ones that come out of your mouth. That's
Yeah.
I mean, but I enjoy her voice,
why.
even though she mutes herself sometimes.
Aw.
I'm not muted.
Oh, you were talking about no words were coming out.
Who should we raid, guys?
Who's on?
I don't know. That reminds
Chat.
me.
Chat, does anybody have any raid recommendations?
I'll send you one real quick, Alan.
Okay, cool.
Where do you want it? Because I always put it in the wrong spot.
Discord's fine.
Discord. Where at in Discord? 'Cause-
Naked, right here.
Okay, no problem.
Please?
I made the audio book with the Kindle book.
Oh, look out for a surprise stream from me this week. That's all. Reflex.
Yeah, we might.
66.
We might get some more Minecraft going sooner or later. Yeah, this is a busy week for me. I got to edit all this, and then we got Circle of Jerks going this week. I still
Yeah.
got to put together everything from Saturday.
Sorry, Spartan.
Oh,
We'll pin him for another stream already.
yeah. I'll pin him for next week. I like Nate. He's cool. He hangs out in Shady Joker's channel a lot.
Don't think I didn't see you puzzled when NJ and Crazy were in the debate of the century. I think that's why we're such good friends, though.
I think that's usually how it works. They go at each other, and I'm just like, "Can I have my ice cream yet?"
Right. Oh, you should have seen her. She was taking groceries out of the bag, and she's like, I got us a treat. And these two
It's
little
like
ice
the
creams.
ice cream.
Oh,
I was like, okay, at least you got the smallest one possible. Like, I'll give it to you.
I've started this new like weight loss thing, and it's basically just like it's basically a food tracker, and it talks about calorie density or food density. And so you put everything in. If it's a green food, you can have as much as you want of it. If it's a yellow, you can only have a moderate. I'll tell you guys more about it like next time. Y'all enjoy Reflex 66.
Here's a shout out to our producer this week. Thanks for coming here, guys. Woo!
It's a me, Waligi.